Mythic Second Edition, version 7, by Brandon Vorked Miller, is a fan-made non-profit D100-based tabletop role-playing game set in the Halo universe. Most of you watching this probably need no refreshment on the setting nor its many controversies, so we just gonna go straight into the game. So, the thing about these kind of tabletop RPG adaptation of a massive franchise, especially those made by corporations, is that they often result in two things: 1, it's poorly adapted into D&D, or 2, they narrow down the scope of the play because adapting literally everything was almost impossible, or at least, not possible within the time constraint of the development cycle. Fan Project has no such limit. The only thing that matters is free time and willpower. They might still just shove the game into D&D though, and like I said, the only thing that matters is free time and willpower, so when facing such daunting franchise, most people just get crushed and the project get put on hiatus. Like all those fanfic you have spent 10 years waiting for the next chapter that will never arrive. That's not what happened with Mythic. Oh god no, when I said Mythic has everything the Halo universe has to offer, I mean it. Every vehicle and their variants, every gun and their variants. I hope you know which specific assault rifles are used in which Halo game, and you can play as any character, from regular grunt to Spartan, actual intelligence to elite, floating gas bag, and who the fuck is this? Why is there Mass Effect in my Halo? This results in a game that can really just let you run any sorts of campaign in the Halo setting, and maybe even beyond, from restarting the Grunt Rebellion, to playing as a bunch of civilians stuck in New Mambosa, to replaying a Halo game campaign, to just running a campaign of Arma 3 Halo, not just because you can play as a UNSC Marine, but also the inventory system can be made more realistic with big air quote. Now that you get an idea of what this ttrpg can do for you, let's talk mechanic. In Mythic, you use a D100 base system, meaning you roll the result with 2d10 dices for the number. You get a target number from a test. Depending on your selected skill plus its difficulty, you roll beneath it, you succeed, and for every extra 10 you roll beyond or behind the target number, you get an increasing degree of success or failure that might further affect the results. That's the basis of the system used for every roll, including during a firefight. In combat, your character has either 2 half actions or 1 full on their turn, which can be spent on a massive variety of actions that can be utilized to simulate a realistic gunfight. Mythic as a system is fairly focused on simulationism. Attack roll is rolled per shots or per burst. The same number is then reversed to find a hit location, which is somewhat important, as much like in Halo, headshot is often way more painful. Bullets are fairly lethal in Mythic too, and this game does not have a kind second wind system, so better take cover at all time and move between them for better position. Suppressive fire is fairly important in keeping enemies' heads down for you to flank them, while a grenade can flush out enemies and make for a grand turkey shooting. When I was joking about a campaign of Arma 3 Halo, I was only half joking, because if you are playing as UNSC Marine, that's your expected play experience. This applies if you are playing as low-tier Covenant races too, like the Grunts or Jackals. Why does the TDS does this? You know what? They are jackass now. They deserve this. They know what they did in Halo 2. The game basically set this expectation as the baseline, to then subvert it when you play as more powerful characters, such as the Elite or, of course, the Spartans. Bullets are still painful, but now you have far more options. You have strength, speed, and precision that normal human do not have access to, plus extensive amount of trainings before you even put a single EXP into actual skills, and that's not even mentioning access to the Mjolnir-powered armor. Shield really changes the game entirely and literally. I always like it when game does this. It makes you feel more powerful in ways where bigger number would just fall flat. Then you take one look at the pages for the powered armor, and you immediately go, I'm just gonna play as Sergeant Johnson because I'm not reading all that. You could customize your Mjolnir just like in the game, by the way. It's insane how extensive customization of anything can be in Mythic. Even bullets can be customized. Yeah, give me that hyper-velocity depleted uranium armor-piercing high-explosive rounds for my gun to give the Covenant the Halo 1 Magnum experience. So, how does the GM control the level of power being engaged in the campaign? The first tool you got is that at the start of a campaign, the GM can assign a starting experience budget in tiers for the players to make their characters with. This immediately set the expectation for how high or low power the player character will be, and you will be spending the starting experience on your character type, as well as characteristic, skill, and talent advancement. Also, if you are playing as a character from a military organization, whether that be the UNSC or Covenant, you get to pick a free equipment pack that can be replenished when you depleted any of its components or because some elite just cuts your gun in half, but you still get a starting credit that can be used to spend on something extra, like gun modifications or more grenades than God. And lastly, there's luck, the one safety tool the players has against impossible odds or to nudge the stories in another direction. This can be temporarily spent to reroll a test, or permanently burned for effects that can turn the tide. It's what makes players' character more prominent against everything else. Only really difficult enemies get to have even a small amount of luck. And yes, much like the game, the GM can tune up the difficulty of a fight to give the players a challenge with higher enemy stats or even something extra, like tuning up an enemy into a boss character as the nemesis. It's so simple that you can basically decide on the spot if you want the player to fight Halo 3 Brood, or Halo 2 Brood. One last tool the GM can provide the players with is support points. These are points that will only regenerate after a mission end or at a select checkpoint that can be spent on, well, support. It comes in 3, package, backup, and ordnance. Package to deliver ammo, weapons, or even vehicles to your position. Backup for NPC squad to aid you in combat and other things, or ordnance to remind your enemies why artillery is still king. Supporting the game is also an insane amount of supplements just to provide details on various subjects of Halo setting, even including info beyond just the war, and even things like skull modifiers to completely change your game into absolutely stupid bullshits. This is just a fan project, by the way. It's kinda insane why it exists at all. And that's basically it on Mythic, a fan-made Halo ttrpg with way too much stuff in it. It's probably not a surprise for you to hear that I love Halo, and most of Bungie games really, except Destiny because I'm a Warframe person. I like the military aesthetic of the UNSC that is practically a lost art these days, that is being put in a stark contrast with the vibrant color of the Covenant, who loves purple just as much as I do. But it's also important to remember that corporations are still corporations, and frankly, these days I can't recommend people Halo MCC in good conscience with whatever shit Microsoft is up to. Also because the fucking co-op was shit. The lag is not a problem. I live in C, I'm born in it, molded by it. The problem is that for some fucked up reasons, the company decided that instead of having you move your character and then send your positional data that way to the host, you press the button, the info is sent, the movement is translated into the host server, and then this data gets sent back to you and only then you see your character move. I'm literally experiencing twice the fucking lag for no good reason. As a Halo fan, it's really hard to get good news these days. What in the actual fuck? So I guess this is why I made this review, something for the Halo fans out there to bring what they like in the setting to life. Even if it's gonna need you to write down a lot of things and do a lot of maths, I'm 90% sure this game is only designed to be run in virtual tabletop like Foundry, because I don't know how you could remember every mechanic in this book otherwise. Other than Mythic, Vorked also made other 100 DOS fan games, including media such as Warhammer, Fallout, XCOM, Titanfall, Helldiver, and what the actual fuck.
Many months later.
Let nobody said that you can't combine them for the most normal tabletop RPG campaign of all time. Anyway, you can find it now plus the supplements on Vorked Patreon page. No need to join there, but you could if you wanna. That's all for now, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe and click that notification bell button. If you want to see the videos early as well as further support my channel, you can join in my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.